Welcome to Dance Party with Stella Dinwiddie. Glad you all could join us on a Friday dance party. I need to rack up another tune here, Stella, and just have you take it off. Just go ahead and lead the entire group here for the next round of dance. So Scott doesn't know what he's getting himself into. I'm telling you what, it's all right. Good to see you all this morning. Friday team call. Let's get rocking and rolling. We've got a lot on the agenda today. Some great material for you. So let's get to start leaderboards. We have on the week so far, starting out the month of March. Let's hit some leaderboards here. We have Cheryl Morris, 1 applications, $535, direct to myself. James Sparks, 1 application, $960, direct to myself. Donna Bates, 1 application, $992, direct to Spencer Kuchin. I'm gonna mark one out there. Stacey Love, 4 applications, $1,863, direct to Donna Bates. Sydney Lee, 4 applications, $1,937, direct to Stella Dinwiddie. That actually does not reflect the what I'm trying to say, DFL product that she actually wrote and turned in last night. DFL typically is counted a little bit different. So debt-free life, for those of you who are not familiar with that particular product. But guys, I'm going to take a quick pause and say with the debt-free life product, we have our own certified debt-free life provider here. So make sure if you go on to the Quilty homepage, go into training, go into product concepts, and go into debt-free life. There is a page there that you can download that's a script when you get to the end of your appointment, how to introduce debt-free life. So you don't need to be certified. It's great if you get certified, but you don't need to be certified. And typically how it works is when you get that form filled out and you get somebody who's interested, you send that up to Quilty. Guys, I'm telling you, we don't need to do that. We have our very own DFL certified in-house here, and she's really good at what she does. So make sure you get connected up with Sydney. She knows this stuff forward and backwards. And guys, we're missing out on a huge opportunity here. Again, I know a lot of us, because we're not DFL certified, we don't put it on a radar to ask that question. Ask it at the end of every appointment. You don't have to be certified. Team up with Sydney, and she'll help get that plan through for you. We know everybody needs it because everybody you're talking about mortgage protection. What's a mortgage? Mortgage is debt. They need debt-free life. Okay, so be intentional, guys. That's all I'm asking. Just be intentional. Put that at the end of your script. Make sure you're asking that. So, okay, want to get on the soapbox there. Let's jump off and jump back into leaderboards. Next up, Elizabeth Delaney, 2 applications, $2,757, direct to Stella. Great job, Liz. Spencer Kuchin, 3 applications, $2,992, direct to myself. Top 2 for the week, Miss Terry Myers, 7 applications, $7,553, direct to Stella. Monster week, great job. Stella herself leading from the front. Guys, this is yet another 10K week, 7 applications, $10,950, over 10,000. No stranger to the 10K club, no stranger to the top of the leaderboards. Congratulations, Stella. And I say congratulations, not like you won anything. You went out and worked your butt off and made it happen. So great job would be a better way to say that. So so awesome to see you leading from the front. Hierarchy wide, let's go ahead and hit the leaderboards for everybody, including the Vetter Agency. Top 10, Salvatore Manzo, 1 application, $3,900, direct to Joanna Doyman. Kim Ironwald, 4 applications, $3,908, direct to Jenny Gray. Derek McPherson, 3 applications, $3,964, direct to John Paul. Lorinda Thompson, 3 applications, $4,472, direct to Mark Roberts. Adam Patterson, 3 applications, $5,641, direct to Joanna Doyman. Natalie Hermit, 9 applications, $5,965, direct to Eric Sullivan. Helena Drinkard, 5 applications, $6,948, direct to Natalie Herman. Terry Myers, again, coming in at number 3 overall, 7 applications, 75.53. And Stella coming in at number 2 at 7 applications, 10,950. Edged out just barely. We're talking like $250-ish by Miss Jenny Gray. 11 applications. Jenny did have the app count lead on the week. 11 applications, $11,211 direct to John Paul. Guys, monster week. Excited for what the direction that this team is going overall as a hierarchy. We had $86,000 submitted for the week. And guys, that just hats off to all of you. You know, we've been showing up a lot on the national leaderboards, and you know, I love. I mean, it's so kind of you to post the stuff on Crew, you know, and mentioning my name, but you know, I turn around and say that is you guys. That is every one of you going out and making that happen. For this team to generate 86 grand in a week, just super pumped up for where we're headed, and things are about to get super interesting. We have got some things to roll out for you this morning that are going to be game changer. Now, I'm going to tell you right up front. This call is going to be geared to those of you who want to build a team, you know, who want to step past the sales role, build an agency. If you're here and your main interest is in sales, that's fine. I encourage you to go ahead and sit in and listen. And at some point, maybe you'll want to look at developing that sales team and, you know, look at those possibilities. But just in the last, well, there's been a lot of things going on. Scott, we'll talk about that here in a minute. But there's been a lot of things going on in the last few months, kind of behind the scenes. And it's just now all starting to boil up and boil out in a good way, in a way that's going to be massively impactful for each and every one of you and for your businesses, especially those of you who, again, want to build something bigger than yourself. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and transition here and bring on our special guest, no stranger to a lot of you. My mentor, the one that brought me into the business, and I don't say it enough, Scott, I'm very grateful to you for placing that ad on Craigslist, guys. Of all the places to find an ad on Craigslist, and I found it. Very grateful that I did. That changed the trajectory of my life, professionally, personally. I mean, just across the board. And you know, Scott and Suzanne have become great friends of ours. And really grateful for Scott and being in this business. So, Scott, welcome to the call. Have you pop on and get some feedback from you on what's happening in the building space.
Well, I appreciate kind words. I really do, Chris. I think you use it as a great friend, no doubt about it. Love Ashley, love that little one. You know I do. Suzanne she's still bringing, I wonder how she's doing. But yeah, you know, guys, I'm just super excited right now. You know, one thing you'll find with me, and I think, Chris, I know how you are. I love Chris. I love when we look at things, right? I'm going to go this way for a minute. I'll usually talk to Chris. I'll talk to Jerry Choate. Jerry Choate, we call him the brilliant mind, right? I mean, that guy, he's just amazing. I'm the kind of the guy that loves to listen in what's going on, you know, kind of maybe find something or go over it. And then Chris is I love it, the devil's advocate. Yeah, I hear it, Scott Butt, right? He's kind of the calming voice for me and Jerry, right? And because we get cautiously excited about things, right? And so, but what's going on right now, guys, yeah, I talked with Jerry. I know, Chris, you and I talked about it. It's just excitement right now, you know. What's really exciting is the phases. I mean, Chris, I'll talk on a little bit about this, and if you want to break in anytime. But you know, there was phases of what we went through on recruiting, right? And it's one of the folks would say to me, and I joked once in a while. Jacob was right there with me at a meeting. He said, "You know, what got you guys going? You know, what got you guys going? Like Chris, you know, Jacob. I mean, we're all right there." I looked at Jacob. I said, "I think we were just the crazy ones." Right. And, you know, and everyone started laughing, but it was a lot that we did. Right. And not everybody would do it. Not everyone wanted to do it. They didn't even put in the time, the effort and everything that went through it. or just felt like, hey, I can sell things and make money in a day, where I don't see nothing down the road on the recruiting side, right? Until maybe 90 days, 120 days. Then you start seeing things, right? Well, things have changed, folks. You know, would I ever change what I went through that process? Chris and I, we talked about that. No, I would not. Because what I've seen, what we did then and was successful, now we see what we got today and we're like, you gotta be kidding me. Right? You got to be kidding me. Then Chris and I are going, man, could you imagine if we'd had something like this back then, you know, right? Because we get it. And so we appreciate what's going on right now. We appreciate it. So as new people, we've got new people on here, right? You're probably going, Scott, I have no idea what you're talking about, right? I have no idea about recruiting. I don't know anything about this, right? Trust me, folks, your life can change much quicker than mine, much quicker than Chris's, many people, right? Up the ladder, Jacob and Marshall, because of the constant changes and the things that we keep bringing in from ownership down to even us. We've been looking at a lot of things. Now, I want to back up.
Good. So you just touched on a point I want to pause just briefly, because I really want, for somebody who's here and is producing and is kind of the main focus, and again, we're not trying to change anybody's mind, but why would somebody want to move from production to building? I mean, why would they even consider that?
Absolutely. You know, one of the things, Chris, and you know, I love what Jacob said one time. I remember when he said where he had a fantastic year and he got the accolades and he made good money that year, but all of a sudden January rolled around and guess what? He had to start over again. He's like, holy mackerel, I'm starting over again, right? I keep moving forward. And think about that for a minute. We've had this happen with folks, right? We've had people that are doing really good right in business. All of a sudden they have a car accident. They become ill. Something pops up, right? All that income is based on you, right? The beauty of building your business is the passive income, is having that passive income coming in. If you could have 2 or 3,000, 5,000, 10, 20, whatever, right? Whatever your goals are, you could have that coming in. Whether Stella gets sick, Stella gets the flu, Stella has to go in the hospital, Stella has a bad accident. I hope none of those things happen, right? But it could. She at least knows that she's got the confidence that she's got income that's going to be flowing in, right? The beauty of that whole system is, what I love about it is you have that passive income that comes in, and folks, it keeps growing. I love the quote from Marshall. I bring it up all the time. He says, you can't stop this thing whether you want to or not. When your business starts growing, you can't stop it. You know, Matt Smith, the late Matt Smith, I'll never forget when he said, listen, guys, I can go around the world for a year. And he asked his agency owners in a meeting, guys, if I was gone for a year, would it affect your business? I said, no. Matter of fact, one of them said, I wish you would leave for a year, jokingly, right? Lovingly, jokingly. But it was true, because it'll always keep growing. Marshall told me when I was here my second year, he went on 4 trips, was gone for 6 weeks. 6 weeks on trips, right? He came back. He says, you know what's amazing, Scott? I come back, I'm making more money now than I did when I left. And he's been on vacation, right? Folks, why I'm saying that is, and it doesn't happen overnight, right? But these are the things that can happen to you as you move forward, as you keep moving and you start building your business. One of the other things that's really important to me about building business, it's my passion, folks. I love watching people become successful. I love watching what happened to Chris by now and back then and now. I love it, right? I've seen other people become successful. I've seen their lives change. And you know, that is really important to me. Chris touched on something. He says, you know, Scott, he goes, I appreciate, you know, you having that ad out there in Craigslist. I answered it. That ad that I took time putting in, which wasn't a whole lot of time, right? I just did it. I put it out there, but I was able to reach Chris. It's changed his life. Same with myself. I was on a Craigslist. And to this day, Chris, I honestly, you know me, when it comes to any technology, I have no idea how I got on Craigslist. I mean, talk about something that was, I feel like I was blessed or it was meant to be. I, to this day, don't realize why I was looking on Craigslist. I don't even know how you get on Craigslist, right? But I found it on Craigslist. I've asked Suzanne what was it. She don't remember. But I found it, the ad in Craigslist. And that's exactly how I got here. And it's just amazing. So, you know, I always say there's always reasons. There's always reasons. And then from there, Chris is here. Others are here. People whose lives changed. It amazes me. And that's why I always tell people I'm very blessed to be here. But once again, folks, if you're here and you're brand new, right? You're trying to figure this out. You're going to get frustrations. You're going to have all of that, right? And I always say that when you're frustrated, when you're trying to get through this thing, I'm happy because I know you're doing it. All we have to do is correct you, right? But what we're going to talk about today is, I think if there is anyone new on here, I would stick around, because trust me, when you start seeing things happen to others around you and you're like, wow, their lives are really changing, or man, they're really doing it. Wow, look at those numbers on their recruiting, right? Or look at them moving up to agency owner. You'll probably be happy to be on this call today, because there's going to be a couple of things we're going to be talking about today that's really, really exciting that we're going to move forward. So anything you have to add to that, Chris?
Oh, sorry. Chris, Scott, do you mind if I just add one tiny thing that I think is super important for somebody brand new and going back to in the beginning of my journey? That was a game changer for me. So when I first started and I started recruiting, Chris asked me, I was struggling to make my promotions. And he said, you know, Stella, and I don't know why it didn't click in my brain, but he said, even if you have one or two people, their APV added to yours is going to help you hit those promotions. And I had been hitting my promotions, but I came to a ceiling. And so that helped me. And then from there, it just kept growing. So I just really want it from just if you're barely starting out and you can't see the bigger picture yet, those small steps is where it all starts. That's all I wanted to share.
No, absolutely, Stella. You know, it's the things you learn as you go, right? I've had people come to me and say, Scott, is that true that I can do this or I can do that? One of the things you need to remember is Symmetry is set up perfectly for anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur and own their own business. There's nothing out there like it. Nothing. Trust me, I know. There is nothing. And if you want to take that on, that you want to run your own business and be an entrepreneur, and all you've got to do is plug into the system. You don't have to get the lead system. You don't have to get a lease and have your own office. You don't have to do all these things, right? You don't have to get the carriers. You just plug and play. That's what you do here. And that's all I did, folks. It was a God blessing for me, because here at 56, I walk away from corporate, got tired of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do? You know, so I looked for 2.5 months. I found Symmetry, and I was just praying, man, this has got to be the one. This has got to be it. I see it. It's all working. I see it's happening, right? And it was. And even back then, Chris, we thought it was great. I mean, now we're talking about what's going on now. And back then it was like jalopy days compared to what we have now, right? And so it's really, really awesome. And that's really, you know, I'm glad we talked about this a little bit, because when we were in the same seat as you, the folks knew, it would seem like it was not that long ago, right? You get in a dog fight and all of a sudden you look back and you're like, wow, it didn't take that long. Chris, you know what I'm talking about. You've been through it, right? Stella, you're in the fight. And it's worth it. And when we tell you this, and I was told this, enjoy the ride, guys. And I don't mean enjoy the ride that it's fun filled, packed filled of, you know, nothing but fun and entertainment. You're going to work. You're going to struggle. And those things that you go through is what you're going to learn about yourself. Guys, I've been in the business, and I've learned more here at Symmetry than I ever have in the business. Right? I mean, I learned a lot about myself, not just the business, but personally, right? I know my wife's told me, Suzanne's told me, she goes, you're totally different in this business. I know Ashley's told you that, Chris, I guarantee she has, right? We all know that. And it's just a changing thing. So when you go through this process, guys, just remember, we're big on, you know, making sure you know, that you're self-developing. You know, make sure you read those books, because it's not only helping your business, but it's helping you as a person. It truly is. And then you find yourself searching out more different books, depending on who you are and where you want to go, right? I love that. And so that's what's so important. But like I said, if it's a time for you, you think it's a time to you start building a team, because this is the perfect company. If you want to get to the 120, you need help, folks. You'll never write enough business to get to 120, right? You just won't, right? But you got to build that team. And there's nothing more fun than building relationships with a team. I got better relationships in this hierarchy than I do outside the hierarchy, right? I mean, I truly do. And a lot of it's mindset. A lot of it has to do with mindset, but I really do. And I really value that. I truly do value that. And even you new folks, I can't wait to meet y'all too. So that's what's so important. And you'll find here too, and Chris, you know this, we're not managers, guys. We're not going to look over your shoulder. We're not going to, you know, call you every day. We're not going to do all this stuff, right? Hey, what are you doing? You got to do this now. You got to do it now, right? No. Most of the time, people that are successful, here's when I back off. I train them a little bit and I leave them alone. And if they want it that bad, they'll reach out to me, right? I've seen people's lives change that way. People come to me and say, Scott, I loved it when you backed off. Right? And when I mean back off is just don't worry about train them a little bit and I'll let them go. Let's see if they float, right? Let's see if they float. But we ain't gonna let you sink. We ain't gonna let you drown, but let's see if you can float. Because this is your business. It's not mine, not Chris. It's your business that you're developing. And that is so important, so important. So that being said, Chris, unless you have anything else, I kind of like to talk about, I'm kind of excited about getting the new stuff right now. So.
Sorry, didn't mean to get you off because I know it's like Christmas morning and a brand new huge gift under the tree.
I know. And so I'm really excited, but let me lay this out for you folks. And so you can appreciate what we're talking about and what's going on right now. Chris, you know this. Stella, you know this. Terry, you've been involved in it. I know this, but we've got a system that well, let me back up. We had a system here. We had, right? A system in recruiting that was awesome. Chris was involved. I was involved. Johnny Cox was involved. And we took ZipRecruiter and literally automated it, right? That's what we did. And we were crushing it, right? We started getting things going. We see things happening. Chris is moving up, everyone's moving up, we're getting this thing going. And then lo and behold, the cat kind of got out of the bag. And then really, but it was kind of in a way, we really started something to really help Symmetry because it got out and everybody was using the system, right? Symmetry knew about it, everything. So everyone got on the system. We exploded, right? We exploded with this automation, man, that's where it's at. So that's what we've used for 5 years or more than 5 years, right? Then all of a sudden the rug got pulled out from under us. Many of us got knocked out of ZipRecruiter, right? A lot of times we don't know why. We're kind of getting ideas why some of us got kicked out, some of us didn't, but a big majority of us got kicked out. I think John Paul did, Jerry Choate, I didn't, Chris, you didn't, but a lot of us did on an individual basis. And on top of that, we got hit with COVID. Okay. I'm proud of this team. In COVID, we held our own. We never dropped. We stayed above. Our percentage was probably about 4%, lowest we've ever had. But folks, we're in the middle of COVID. In March, we're trying to figure out what to do. The way we snapped back was amazing. How we changed things over that year and amazing, and still was to be up above where we were the year before, right? And 2019 was a great year. That's when I broke out. We've had other people break out. That was a breakout year for us. And yet we did better in 2020. 2021 come around. Now in 2020, 2021, we did a lot. Chris, brother, I appreciate you. I appreciate Jerry, a few other people that we're trying to figure out, what are we going to do on recruiting? What the heck are we going to do, right? So we're trying all these different things, right? We're trying this, we're trying that. Things that we didn't really understand, or at least don't have any kind of background in it, but we can only go by what we hear, the numbers, things like that, right? And we think we've got something good, we try it. Some of it worked okay. Some of it worked well with some folks, some of it didn't, right? And so that was a big thing. So Chris and I mean, we spent money. We spent money in these things, right? Research and development, that's what it was, right? That was that time of year. That's what we were doing. We were doing 2 or 3 different things, trying to figure out what would work. Then we drop them off. Then we keep trying, right? Matter of fact, we were thinking about going back to an old one we were doing about 2 or 3 years ago. We were checking into, right? Just to see if it would work, all right? So this is what we did. Well, we still, in 2021, this agency did over 40% growth. Super proud of this team. Now, how can we figure out, well, if we've dropped on recruiting, which is always affects it, it's all about recruiting, how did we go up to 40%? I don't know, Chris, you may have a thought on it. My thought is, the biggest part of it is I think we just become very seasoned as agents. The people that we have brought on become seasoned. I mean, you look at the numbers. I mean, our top 10 people, top 12, they're all around 10,000 and above, right? We've got a very good core people on this team. And I think that's important because as a core, I think our core is very strong due to the situations we went through, right? I truly mean that. I think that's what's happened. Now, that being said, right, and I can almost bet that's what it is. There was some recruiting going on. Now we're starting to see a recruiting shift. We're starting to see it surging a little bit, right? Not the way we always been, but we're moving up. We're seeing things happening. We're seeing numbers change. That being said, what we used to do back then is we would obviously have to set appointments. We had to keep a cash flow going, right? But on top of that, what we used to do also was we would recruit. And we had this new system. We saw things changing back in the day. Chris and I, we were doing, we were doing Craigslist and we got kicked out of that. I got kicked out of Craigslist. I pounded it pretty hard. I think that was the problem. I think more of it was our competitors didn't like it. So if they complained, then I get in trouble, right? That's how it was. So, but I got kicked out. I think, Chris, I don't know if you did, but a lot of us got kicked out. So that's when we went into the ZipRecruiter and we fixed this all up. Well, then all of a sudden we started moving and we really started generating recruits, right? We started getting interviews. We started doing really, really well. But when we did that, we didn't realize that, hey, we got something working here that's bringing the people on, but all this training, right? So now Chris, myself is going, okay, now we still got to write business. We're recruiting and having interviews with people. And now we got to train them, right? So I remembered one time when I called Jacob one day and I was excited, before I go, hey, Jacob, I got 14 packets out, right? Or packets back, right? And I would send these out. Exciting. Until the day came when all of a sudden I had 8 new agents ready to be recruited that week. And I went, oh, you're kidding me. So I called Jacob. I said, Jacob, I'm in a panic. I got 8 people I got to train. I need help with this. I don't know what to do. And he's going, man, that's awesome, Scott. I said, no, it is not. I said, how am I going to do this? I can train, but I can't train 8 at the same time, right? He's like, Scott, you can do it, if anybody. He goes, I love your work ethic. You can do it. Well, he was a good cheerleader that day. I said, okay, I can do it, right? So I did it. And I remember that, Chris. I mean, it was like, holy mackerel, went on 2 appointments, came back home, found out I had an interview. And after that, then I spent an hour or whatever training, right? I remember I would train one person, go to the next one, go, okay, where am I on this one? And I would do that one. That's what I would do. And it was tough, guys. I get it. I love it. Like I said, I would never change it because I appreciate those times. Guys, here's what we have now. Here's what we have now. We have finally gotten where me and Chris, or Chris and I, have dreamt about having everything automated. Chris, how many times have we talked about this? If we could just have this or this or this. And we would think of these things and we would try to figure out how can we do this? We try to think about how about if we hire somebody, hire a system, right? Whatever that we can do to get this set up. I mean, we would talk about it. We have it now, folks. We have it now. Think about it for a minute. If you can have a week where you could set or have appointments for what you need, whether it's 15 appointments a week for your sales, what if I told you that's going to be automated? Hardly any phoning at all. Appointments set. Wow. Terry, what would that do for your Friday evenings and Saturday mornings doing all those dials? Right? Why don't we make those Saturday mornings into appointments? Maybe even a Saturday afternoon appointments and have a $10,000 a week every week by just jumping out of the weekend with 2,000 or 3,000 extra, right? We know those numbers. I know those numbers. You write 2,000 or 3,000 on a weekend, you're going to hit 10,000 that week. Just think if you could do appointments instead of setting appointments on the weekend. Is that not awesome? And then all of a sudden I'm set through in a week. On top of that, Then you can set your schedule where you can have these appointments maybe Saturday, one day and Tuesday. And then what you can do is you can recruit on Wednesday, Thursday, and part of Friday. And when Wednesday comes around and you're done writing business, you look at your schedule, well, I'll be darned, I got 10 interviews. Wouldn't that be nice? And then after that, you got people coming on. And you got 2 or 3 people saying, I'm ready to go. I got my license. I'm ready to go. What do I need to do? You set them through the training class. You get them through Fast Start, and you send them through a training that we have that not only you don't have to worry about if you're overtraining, if you're under training, am I at the right time for this person? I got 2 other ones at different times. Am I doing the right thing? Folks, they go through the system. There's an email or a text that comes out to you and tells you exactly where they are through the training. What you have to do is just be there for them, start building a relationship, talk to them if they got any questions. I'm talking to AOs right now that they're going through this. I said, Scott, this is a great way to have conversations with the agents. They understand where they're moving and they're moving forward. Folks, if I can give you that, do you think you can really do well with building an agency? We got it. We have it. And that is so awesome. The piece that we now are going to talk about today is the recruiting side. Symmetry's coming out with these things, right? Symmetry's got this set up now. It's artificial intelligence. We started doing that. What I love about this team, the things that we were talking about with Chris and I, Jerry, we were looking at things. We found, Doug Dorr, we found artificial intelligence. The thing is, some of you guys have been using it, and now you're going to be able to use the one Symmetry has, and you're ahead of the game. You're ahead of everybody in this whole entire Symmetry right now. You get that. And it's going to be more, it's going to be easier, not clunkier, right? It's going to be awesome. It's streamlined. I already found out. This thing is amazing, right? So you're going to have that. We also now have the training. Scott now doesn't go crazy when he finds out he has 8 new people coming on. I'm celebrating it because guess what? They're going right through the system, right? I can have 20 now. I don't care. Chris, go get 30. It doesn't matter, right? You move them through the system. Because always remember, guys, we used to hire 10 people. Chris, you know this. If we hire 10 people, we go through everything, train them up, 1 or 2 will stay. What happened to the other 8 or 9? You spent how much time on those? And they're gone? And then I get phone calls from Chris or another, Scott, I don't get it. This guy bought leads, 2 weeks, he's gone, right? Look at all the time he spent, right? I get that. That's how we lose people in recruiting, right? They feel like, wow, I did all this, I got nothing out of it, right? So this is going to help. This is going to help. It's going to move people through. You're going to find at the end of it who your people are. And you save time, right? The one piece and the strong piece that was important to us was the one in the middle, the appointments and setting up interviews to get to these folks, right? We got the part for the sales, we got the part for the training, but that's the strong part. And I'm telling you, like I said, we got blessed over the last week or 2. We now are working with a system that Chris, myself, Johnny knows very, very well. We know what this system's going to do. Maybe not perfectly. I think it's going to be better than what we did. No doubt about it. I think the number is going to be better than what we did. And I was happy with our numbers then. But these numbers are going to be awesome, folks. And it's a system that Chris knows very, very well. I know very, very well. And you all are going to know very, very well. The beauty of this system is it's going to go through ZipRecruiter like we used to, right? We know ZipRecruiter very well. The system's set up in a way that the people that are working with us right now, which is Max Day, who is with Symmetry, he decided he wanted to work with us because he knew about our success through the system before. And so we had a great conversation. Jerry and I had a great conversation with him about that. We're the biggest agency that he wants to work with right now. Right now he's working with smaller folks because his team that he has is growing and they're not big enough to take on Symmetry. And I appreciate that. Totally appreciate that. So he's waiting for his team to grow, but he wanted us to be in there. Folks, he showed me numbers, right? He showed me numbers of people like Andrew Jimenez, There's a reason why Andrew Jimenez's numbers are showing up on the board. There's a reason why Andrew Jimenez is going up the numbers on AV right now. I think he was over 300,000 last month. He's never hit that. He's hitting new heights right now, new goals that he hasn't done in the last 2 months, right? Or he's done in the last 2 months. Why? Because he's using the system. He's using the system. Oh, I apologize. He's using the system. And so that's what's so important. So we're going to be using this system, folks, and it's going to help you build your business. It's going to help you go through the process. It's now what we're going to do is, and I love what, Chris, you said this one day. Scott, I'm not looking for professional people who can call people. I'm looking for people who can get out and talk to people about the product, right? We've talked about that, Chris, many a time, right? We want people to be great at sales and finding the emotion, finding the need for that person, right? Unfortunately, we've always had to do a lot of phone calls to get these folks, right? And that's a part of it. That part of that now is dwindling. It's going away. As Brandon said, we want to get away from the phone. We're going to get away from the phone. So that's what we're doing now, folks. And now you can just literally just be good at your craft. Be good at talking with folks. Set those appointments like Stella, right? Stella's crushing it. And if she didn't do that overnight, she got good at her craft. That girl can go in there and write right now. And that's what I love about this. And folks, when you wake up the next day and find out that you're going to have, whether it's, interviews set up for recruiting, or you got appointments set for make sure you're protecting people, that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. So I hope I wanted to lay that out, Chris. I think it's so important in what we have going right now. This is what we're doing, guys and gals. Now you're going to do it half the time. Me personally, I wouldn't say, hey, look, I'm saving half the time. I'm just going to double it up, right? And that's what you can do. And you can get things going really, really quick. You can grow quicker. It's whatever you want, right? I had a meeting yesterday. You don't have to be as fast as Chris Menefee or myself or anybody. Do it in a pace that is not a sprint, but right, it's a marathon. You don't want to burn out. So make sure you're learning the process, going through it. You're going to make mistakes, but that's how you learn, right? Massive action, constant correction. So that's what we have going right now, folks. I'm highly excited about it. I know Chris is, several other people are, because we've done it the old way.
Somebody froze.
Okay, I was trying to decide if that was me or Scott. All right. Well, we're going to stall and see if he comes back live here. But guys, so what he's talking about, this is a system that was developed by Max Day. Max brought it to Symmetry. Basically, what he's trying to share with you is very similar to what we were doing years ago that was highly successful and then kind of broke down. Max it has a system that he developed that was patterned very similar to what we were doing before, but much better. I mean, and why do we say much better? We were on a call. Let's see, what did I say, Friday? We were on the call at the beginning of the week. No, sorry, last week about this time. And Max was actually sharing a spreadsheet of some of the agencies that he's working with. So we were able to see real-time numbers of what's coming through. So we're talking about, you got to think about from a building standpoint. So if you want to build a team, let's say I want to build a team to agency owner. I want to get 6 agents, 6 writing agents, issue paying 30,000, which is writing about 50,000 of submit. How do we get to 6 agents? Well, you got to reverse the numbers. If you want 6 agents, the reality is, like Scott says, and this doesn't matter where you go in sales, you've got to recruit about 10 people to find one solid writing agent. It doesn't have to be a top performer. It's got to be just somebody who's consistent in putting in business. So that means if you want to get 6 agents, you've got to have 60 contracts coming through. Now, not all at once. Obviously, that's a process that's over time. But if you go back to the Symmetry numbers, they say get 20 onboardings back a month. So 3 months worth of onboardings, 20 a month. Well, how do you get to 20 a month? Again, we got to reverse engineer the numbers, guys. It's all math. You know, we can fuss and cuss all we want, but at the end of the day, it comes down to math. It is what it is. You can either bucket or accept it and then go at it and do what you got to do to get those numbers in. So if you need 20 packets back, in reality, that means you have to have about 40 sent out. So if you have 40 sent out, you've got how many interviews? Because we don't send one out to everybody we interview. And I use the 50% rule. If I 40 sent out, I probably need to be talking to somewhere around 80 people ish, give or take. Now, some people will talk to 50 and send out 40. Okay. So that just take that as it is. So we have, let's say 50 people that we put in. Whoops. All right. Scott texted me. They had a power surge, apparently knocked him out. So he's going to be on. He's going to be on when they get back up and running. Okay, so if we need to get 50 to 70, 80 interviews, what does that mean from an applicant standpoint? Well, we got to have more applicants because not everybody's going to interview. So what I'm trying to build the case is, guys, if you want to cold market recruit, you've got to have a funnel that is bringing in large numbers of people. I can tell you, Scott mentioned, and we've been spending a lot of money, and I mean a lot of money over the last couple of years trying things. In my opinion, a stupid amount of money. But we wanted to figure something out. Thank God Max Day was brought on by Symmetry, because he probably saved us no untold amounts of money trying things, because Max has a system that he developed working with ZipRecruiter, a platform that we already know, taking processes that we were familiar with, but vastly improving them, integrating automation, which is a huge key, guys. So much of what we're learning about, and you're seeing it on the production side, some of you who are starting to use the AI, you know, the way we communicate is changing. So if you pick up and call somebody in another, you don't even have to pick up and call somebody in another state. You can call somebody in your own city. If they don't recognize your number, the odds of them picking up is dramatically lower. So people don't pick up phone calls from numbers that they don't recognize more and more and more, which means that's more work on our part. However, what we do know is they will read texts. Something like 92% of all texts are read. Okay. So on the hierarchy of communication, email is the very lowest. Nobody reads email anymore. Calls, which is drastically falling off. Texts are now the top of that pinnacle, top of that hierarchy. And so you have to leverage technology to get people on your books. Okay. So guys, I hope you're paying attention. I hope you're taking notes. If you have an interest in building, you shouldn't be multitasking right now. Understand, if you want an agency, this is what it's going to take for you to get where you want to go. There is no way around the numbers. There is no way around the numbers. You say, okay, I want to build warm market. I'm a fan of warm market. I want you to build warm market. Okay. But the reality is you still have to put the numbers in. If you're not getting the numbers in warm market, you're just going to spin your wheels. I'm sorry. Again, huge fan. I look at the Smith brothers. I look at the Millers. I look at Kyle Cambrell. I mean, these are massive teams that started out warm market. Now, I will tell you, they started warm market. They transitioned to cold market because that's necessary. If you want to build at scale, at some point, you're going to have to dip into the cold market. So why are we talking about this system this morning? Because, again, we've got a proven system. This is not agencies to massive size. He partnered with Symmetry. I don't know if Symmetry found him. He's found Symmetry. It doesn't really matter. The point is we're in partnership together, and the guy knows what he's doing. Spencer asked a great question. Well, how's this any different than before? It's hard to pinpoint how, because there's so many things that are different. The way, so Max has a relationship with ZipRecruiter that we didn't have. He knows how to get ads posted using keywords, using the right verbiage to keep us out of ZipRecruiter jail, to make sure that we are getting maximum number of applicants. His process, the automation, the AI that he is using, the system he is using, is putting us in front of applicants before anybody else gets to them. And that's key. When we had that call with Max here about a week ago, and the numbers don't lie. You know, he was showing us like, hey guys, you know, here's why we are doing so much better. It's not that we're getting more applicants, it's because we are getting there before anybody else does. And if you take that applicant off the shelf, so to speak, nobody else can get to them. Once they are in our system, they're focused on who we are and what we do. And we've got a great system, guys. Us, people get excited, and so they stop looking. That's all it is. It's not that we're, you know, it's not that, you know, any of you have got to be, you know, super shiny rock stars. It's just you're there first. It's like you keep hearing the owners talk about on the Wednesday call, what we're finding with leads. If you were the first person on the phone, in other words, you get that lead in your inbox and you're picking up your phone and calling them right then and there, you're getting the business more often at a higher percentage because you're there first. This is what the Max Day system is doing. It's getting us in front of that candidate, getting our material in front of them. Now, do we want to hire them all? No, that's not the point. It's speed to contact. Okay, so getting them into the funnel, getting them understanding who we are and what we do. The beautiful thing about this, though, is, again, this is not labor intensive on our part. I mean, we still have to do work. Don't get me wrong. You're going to work hard. But a lot of what we used to do and trying to chase resumes and trying to pick up the phone and trying to send out emails manually, text manually, all that stuff is now automated. So now you have people showing up on your calendar who you've never had an initial conversation with. Your system has had a conversation with them. Your system is in the background just having a grand old time, and everybody's just chit-chatting back and forth. But in some of you are seeing this on the production side, some of these systems that we're using, it's really cool to go in and see that back and forth conversation, okay? It's you know, a little scary too if you start thinking about it. The bots are taking over the world, but that's as a little side joke. But guys, so now you have got people on your calendar. And the beautiful thing about this is, again, is it's not only putting them on the calendar, but it's also instructing them to make sure that.
Welcome back, Scott. Chris just froze now. You're on mute, Scott. You're still on mute. You're on mute, buddy. Scott, you're on mute. Sorry for yelling out.
There we go. I got all this stuff around. I got my iPad to the side in case we ever have another surge here. Sorry about that. So all of a sudden everything just went. All right. Well, we're going to try this again. Looks like we lost Chris. This is one heck of a meeting we got going here. We didn't set this up this way. I promise everybody. So anyway, so what we're doing right now is we've got a system now for the recruiting. Okay. It's a system that we use. We're using it through ZipRecruiter, except we have a team that now is working for us. We used to have to refresh them. We'd have to try to figure out how to get to the top of the heap. Everything we could that everyone got to see our ads, right? So these folks right now have been doing it for years also, but they've really perfected it. They know exactly what to do as far as how the ads should look. They have everything on this, folks. They know everything to do. They make sure that we're on the top of the heap, not only a weekly basis, but on a daily basis. People will see our ads before anybody else. So we're really excited about it. So once again, it's another plug and play. That's exactly what it is. And so what we need to do is just get on those interviews and get good at it. Now, how we're setting this up, okay, this is the key right now. Some of us got obviously kicked out of ZipRecruiter. If you were kicked out of ZipRecruiter, you cannot get on ZipRecruiter. You cannot. Now, don't panic if it's any of you. What we can do is, let me give you an example. I'm going to use myself as an example. We can put together a group, okay? the minimum on these groups is 4 people. And the minimum that you could pay for the system that, you know, to make sure you get interviews is $2,000. But if you've got a group of 4, that means it's $500 each. I asked, how well would it be, you know, as far as getting interviews with 4 people paying? He said, Scott, I'm telling you, it's different than what you're used to. It's different than what you're used to. You would get 20 or 30, you know, per person, right? Is what you would get zip ads. And we knew that was a sweet spot. You can get a group of 4 right now, and for 2,000, you'll have 20, right? They're getting incredible amounts of interviews with 20 for 4 people because of what they're using in the system through ZipRecruiter. They're going to get you up on the top on a daily basis. They've got other things they do. There's ways that they tweak ads that can really pull people towards you. So he says, you'll get a lot. He goes, now we can up it, guys. We can up it. We can bump it. If we said, hey, listen, man, we want more interviews. And if everyone makes a decision, they want to up it a little bit, we just up it a bit, and then we just split it again, right? So that's how it works. Now, for people that's been kicked out, if you want to start a group, and I'll explain what that all means, you can't. You can be in the group, right? But you can't lead the group. Because when you lead the group, when you do it, it's all under your name, and it's under in the owner circle. You have a website. It all funnels through your website. Now you might see, so, whoa, wait a minute, Scott. If it's going through a website, I want it to go through my website. You know, it's fine. You know, we've done that before. We've used one person's website and did round robins before. That website means nothing. What the website means is that's where they go and said, yeah, I want an interview. And so what happens is we do this as a round robin, folks. So if it's me, Chris, Donna, and Stella, right? Well, it's going to be a round robin. So what the key to this whole thing is, guys, make sure you keep your calendar well. And what I mean by that is don't have a bunch of stuff on it unless you really need to have it on there. Okay. Make sure if you're setting appointments and you want to get a lot of your appointments done, do them on Monday and Tuesdays. Free up a lot of time on your Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Have that free, because when we do the round robin, if someone says, yeah, I'm interested on Wednesday at 11 o'clock and Donna's ready to, and the next round is Donna. If Donna's got an opening at 11 o'clock, Donna gets it. If Donna doesn't have an opening, if she's got yoga that day and she marked it in there, it's going to go to Stella. If Stella's open, it goes to Stella, right? So make sure, guys, make sure this calendar doesn't have yoga class or I'm going shopping class or whatever, right? Don't do that, because you'll miss. You'll miss on those interviews. So make sure that that is your schedule is set perfect for if you're doing your sales side of it. Do your sales side interviews. This is when I want to do all my interviews, right? I'm real good. I was good at it. I think Chris got real good at it. Where on Monday and Tuesdays, I double booked sales appointments. I mean, I would have at least at minimum, I think the worst I ever had was 8 and 1 on a Monday, right? And you're like, how do you do 8 or 10, Scott, or 11 on a Monday? Folks, not everyone shows up. Not everybody shows up, right? And the second thing is, if I got someone saying, well, you know, it might be a good time. I think we'll be okay. Yeah, I'll talk to my wife. We should be good with it. I'm double booking this guy. Right? If he did show up, I'll say, well, listen, I apologize. I'm super busy. Got a lot of them to do today, but I'll make sure the same time tomorrow, I'll make sure that we get together. Right? So that's what you want to do. So make sure you set it up that way. And you'll talk more about your mentor about that. But the thing about it is this system is set up on a round robin where everybody's going to get equal through the process, right? As long as you have your openings on your calendar on the days you want, right? That's what you want to do. And so that works. As a leader of the group, okay, yes, it funnels through your website. It's not a big deal. What we're going to do is, like with me, on mine, it's going to have, they're going to see videos. They can look at it on that website of videos, people talking about symmetry. But the beauty of it is also is when these people go through the system, before they get to you, they're going to see videos. They're going to get text. They're going to get all this stuff to get them all ready understanding what we go through, understand symmetry, the whole process. By the time they get to you, Donna, they pretty well know what's going on. And that's why your interviews aren't going to be that long. It's going to be more of talking about expectations. What are we going to do as we move forward, right? That's what it's all about. They're well in. If they've gotten that far, they know what this is all about. Okay, so that's the beauty. You're not going to be on it for an hour and a half and discuss, oh, by the way, it's commission, and you got to talk to them about that, right? They know this stuff. They know this. And so that's the good thing about this. So once again, you know, personally, I've talked with him. He's got some people doing 15-minute interviews. I would do a half-hour interview right now until you get good at it. I hope we get to a point where we're all doing 15-minute appointments. It means you're talking to more people. We'll get this. And once again, we're going to adjust as we go. The groups, you know, and I'll be looking at all the numbers. I'll be asking the group people, you know, hey, tell me what your numbers are. How are we doing? You know, okay, well, you can pick it up a little bit more if you want. And we can figure that out with Max. He'll let us know. But once again, that's what we're going to do. Now, as another part of being the group person, is one of the questions on there is, where do you want to work? What parts do you want to work? I can tell you right now, if you're going to do 2,000 a month, you're going to get 20. You'll get 20 cities to work with. If y'all know that there's about 25 cities, there's about 25 major cities in this country. We all could do all those major cities because we're all going to have different ads. Right? So that's not an issue either. I get people saying, well, man, we get people in. No, look, we got a whole bunch of people in the entire cemetery that's doing the same cities. We got the entire industry working with cities, right? So that's not a problem. But what I would do, and Chris, if you want to jump in on this, me personally, I always did the major cities because if I did something like St. Louis covered all of Southern Illinois and a big part of Southern Missouri and Central Missouri and Central Illinois. So I know Jerry Choate tried some things with mid-cities and things like that. I thought it was overkill. Myself, I just like hitting the major cities because it will cover the whole thing. If you got a good ad, it'll do well. But that's exactly what we have. So the key to this whole thing is, folks, here is the key. We can do a 4-person group. You can do a 6-person group. I personally, if I was doing a group, probably would not get bigger than 6. I think you're straining it if you're doing 8. Why am I saying that? Has nothing to do with cost, has nothing to do with how many interviews you have. It's all about keeping from getting kicked out. If Chris decides to put on a group, and he has 20 people in this group, one person messes up. One person. The whole entire group's kicked out for life. That's it. ZipRecruiter ain't messing around. We tried to figure out what was going on. We thought maybe it was because of the ads. Part of it is because when we send in ads as a group leader, like I'll do, I'm going to send some ads in. They go through the ads. They make sure that everything, you know, I got some good ads, but they're going to go through it. Say, Scott, we can't do this. We can't do this. We can't do this. That's what they're going to do. They're going to vet it real well, right? They're going to vet these ads. The second thing that's been an issue, guys, when you talk to folks, people are people. They're the toughest commodity to deal with. Trust me, we know it, right? You get these people. And I love using Jerry Choate. Chris, you've been doing it, but Jerry Choate was #1 recruiter. What was that, a year or two ago? So he recruited a lot of people. He talked to a lot of people. And he got a lot of different kind of people, okay? And there's some of them I've had to deal with, right? We had to bring it up to me to have conversations with. You're going to have people that's hard to deal with. You're like, I don't understand. This person's interested in this position, yet he's turning into a total jerk, right? Guys, let it go. Let it go. Don't go toe to toe. Don't do that, right? You do, they complain, they take the zip, you're in trouble. But we do have systems, right? Jerry was telling me about this. You can go into Quility. If you have someone that was really, Jerry will tell me, he says, Scott, there's been people that cussed me out and all that. He goes, I couldn't believe it, right? And not to scare you, some people do that, right? Just don't hang up on them. Say, you know what? I appreciate that I may have called you at a bad time. Maybe this isn't right for you. I totally apologize. I know you had an interest in this, and now I believe that you understand it. We're good, right? And walk away with good. I've done that. with someone that Jerry had, I walked away, these people were happy. They said, Scott, I wish this would have worked out. But it doesn't, right? But we shouldn't have that kind of thing, especially the way we're vetting it right now through the system. Jerry's excited about that. I'm excited. We should not have that because people know going in. They know going in. But still, if you get one of those people that's had a bad day, maybe the husband or wife got all over them saying, why are you calling and having this conversation with these people, right? Whatever, just be nice as can be. You get flies much better with honey than you do vinegar, folks. And so, but that's why we don't want to have a big group, because if one has an issue, the whole group goes down. The whole group goes down. Now, the bright side of that, okay? Let's say that we have a group that does fall. The nice thing about it is we can take, because y'all are all kicked out, right? But here's what we can do. We can take you and spread you out amongst the other groups. Because once again, you got kicked out, but you can be in a group, right? So we can do that, okay? But we don't want to make a habit of that because we're going to have a rough time if it gets too bad. But no, like I said, I don't see that happening, but I have to be very upfront with that just to make sure, because we don't want y'all getting kicked out, right? We just don't want that. We want you to be successful. We want you to move forward. But I look at it, I always try to look at things, you know, glass half full. I am somewhat relieved and excited that ZipRecruiter's being this way, because we've had a lot of other companies out there that are getting knocked off of ZipRecruiter, and they aren't even going to mess with them no more. It's that bad. So they're really clearing the way for us, guys. They're clearing the way for us. That means there's a lot less competition out there. We had so much, when Chris and I was running this thing, the competition just got fierce. Just got fierce. I mean, back in a couple of years we were doing it, we were the golden boys, right? It was like the Wild West back then. But now, it's over. And so, but they've thinned out the field. And so that's really, really good too. So I always look at the bright side on this, and that is a bright side. We just got to make sure that we handle it as professional as we can, have great conversations with people. Like I said, hire the people you want to go on vacation with. If you don't want to go on vacation, another one, Jerry loves what I say, if you're hiring a guy that you wouldn't want to sit next to your wife at a dinner table, don't hire him. Right? You don't like that? Don't hire him. I mean, I want to find people I love this team, right? I love this whole hierarchy. We got a great group here, man. I'm serious. If there's new people on here, I can't wait to meet you. But I've always believed in that. I believe in that. Vacations or going out to dinner with your wife, trust me, it ain't going to happen if they're that bad. So, but that's exactly what we have here. I want to right now, Chris, kind of throw it out for any questions right now with anybody or any statement, anything at all. Or is there anything I missed, Chris?
I think that covers it pretty well. And obviously, you know, individually we can dig into some of the nuances, but it's pretty, guys, it's pretty clear, cut, and dry. And what I love about this is, again, Max put it together where it's plug and play. I mean, once you get in, there's not a lot of setup. I mean, I'm having to go through because I'm setting up kind of the master account, but it's nothing more than just entering information in. So yeah, we're like when we did this before, I mean, Scott, you and I, we were building stuff. You know, we were hiring people to go in and make stuff happen. So, you know, I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but yeah, let's get some questions for anybody that wants to pop in.
And before we do a question, I do have one thing I do want to say, folks. This might not be for everybody. And I'm being honest with you. If you're, look, what we're going to be doing is the person that is running the group. I remember when we were doing Zip, I mean, we had 400, almost 500 accounts out there. It was crazy, right? I was doing all the entire accounting on that, right? I don't know how many, 50 or so many people that was involved in this, and they all had to pay me each month, right? So I had all this invoices I had to send out. I had to do all this stuff, right? So we want to make sure, but I got a good thing for that, Chris, I'll tell you in a minute. But we want to make sure this is something that you folks feel confident that you can say, hey, listen, I can budget this each month. I can budget this each month. You know, and as a group, you may want to talk it over, right? You know, I talked with Jerry, and I know I'm going to talk more with Max with this. Let's say that we've got, you guys are up to 4,000, but maybe you got a couple people that want to pay a little bit less, right? They said that they can work it in a way that whoever's paying more can get more of it through that round robin. How they do that, I have no idea, but that's what they claim. The other thing is we won't have a big issue with the invoices as much, but still, as a leader, you would still have to do that. Jerry's got a system right now he's going to give me today that literally when the invoice time comes, it's there. It's literally just copies each month and it just goes out. So we don't have to have someone doing that, or you have to do that. Okay, Chris? So that's nice. So I've been working on the backside of that, trying to figure out the little nuances of things like that that I remember that I did, and things I'm trying to make it easier on everybody. So we do have a system that we're going to be putting in for the people that have the group that invoices just boom, 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 boom. It's just done. Okay. So we're going to make this as slick as can be. Slick as can be. So any questions, folks? Any at all?
So I have something I just want to share, and I know we're over the hour, so I'll be quick. But I know there's a lot of people on my team that want to do this. I also know that, you know, there's some individuals that felt like how I felt in the beginning. Still, I want to do this, but I can't afford it right now. Mm-hmm. So, and I felt like I was missing out in the very beginning. So what I will tell you, just focus on getting at least one person through your warm recruit and through sitting with your clients, because that's going to at least help you. You can, so you don't have to feel like you're missing out. And, you know, like Scott said, you can eventually budget it in, but until then, you don't have to feel like you can't do anything. You can do something to propel yourself. You have resources. You can do it. I just wanted to share that. So until you get to that point where you are learning how to write more business and it's a progress, when you get there, then you can start budgeting. Okay, now I can do this. Now I know my numbers. I know my averages. But until then, you can recruit.
Yeah, and there's more than just doing this, right? I mean, this is just a great way to be consistent doing this. If you got warm market, we've got several people in warm market right now just crushing it. But one of the things that I did, folks, and someone brought it up too. I don't know who it was, but you know, when I first started, obviously I had a budget, right? And so what I did was you know, it's all about cash flow. We got to make sure we're doing cash flow. Where we talk about recruiting, whatever. If we don't have cash flow, we don't pay our bills, right? I mean, that's so important. But we also need to make sure we have cash flow on anything we do, like buying leads, or if you want to recruit, you recruit, right? I knew what I needed to spend. You know, back in the day, Craigslist was probably the most expensive thing we ever did, Chris. I mean, holy mackerel. I mean, it was expensive, thousands of dollars in a month. But I remember what I did was I budgeted on a daily basis. And so what I did was I broke it down on a daily basis, what it was going to be. But I also knew how much I wanted to write a week. So I built it as a percentage of what my writing was. I think my percentage was 10%. I can't remember. I have to look it up. I got it wrote down. But anytime I would write business, I knew that percentage of it was coming out. And I had and I still do have it. I still have that account, that credit card account, that money was in there, right? That money was in that account, and that credit card, I would pay off that credit card at the end, right? I'd have that account and I would pay that credit card off. And that credit card was just for leads. But I would do that. And I think there was times I was putting back maybe, I think on a daily basis, it was really only costing me about $20 a day. I think it is what I was doing on an average. And so, but I knew, and it was great for me because I knew I had to write business to be able to do that on a daily basis. So it was just another motivating thing for me to write business, right? And then I never worried about the leads, or I had it for both leads and on recruiting. But it's just little things like that. If you just break it down small, and then it all once again comes down to, hey, I just got to write business, right? And it motivated me. I knew I had to at least I wanted to write one a day, right? That's what I wanted to write, was one a day. And that's how I calculated what I needed to do on a daily basis. Now, you're not going to write something every day, but boy, if you write 2 of them in one day, that helped out, right? But that's exactly how I did it, folks. So, but once again, I really want people to understand, you know, if you are ready to start building, if you feel confident in the building, and even if you want to learn it, start talking to your mentor about it. And if you feel like you got the confidence to do it, do it. But folks, make sure that you have the budget. This is something that we want to make sure that you can budget this every month. We don't want to put the people who are taking care of the money side of this. I don't want this to be, because I ran into it a couple times. I finally had to shut things down on a few, that I don't want to be doing second and third invoices. Okay. I mean, I'm just being very upfront. This is for someone who's really ready to do this. We know the minimum is $2,000. If you have 4 in that group, we know it's $500. If you have 6 in a group, it's a little less than that. I'm not going to get into math. I don't feel like trying to figure it out right now, but you know, it's going to be less. But the thing is, you know, that's what you can figure out. Or your person in the group might just say, hey, listen, you know, we're going to do 4 with this group, but I'm going to talk to someone else on the team that can start a group. You know, I'm going to do the same thing. I've got AOs that are going to be doing it, but I'm also going to talk to others that are doing really, really well in building their team, see if they want to start a group. But once again, it all comes back to everybody that I'm going to talk to on building this group to make sure that we constantly talk about doing the right things so you don't get kicked out. Okay? Any questions, folks? Any at all?
I had a quick question, Scott. I had posted it on the chat there a few minutes ago. Is this just using ZipRecruiter, or are they utilizing other hiring boards in addition to ZipRecruiter?
They have another one. I can't remember what it's called. It's an extra $500, but right now I talked with Max, and I said, do we really need to do that one right now? He says, no. He goes, I'll be honest with you. He goes, I wouldn't. That's what he said. So we're just doing that one. Now, that's a great question, Terry. I've got people saying, well, you know, I'm still doing things with, you know, it's not that much for me to do Indeed, or maybe they're doing a LinkedIn or something like that. You know, if you want to do another one, that's great. You know, if you got one that you're doing well with right now, you can do that, right? I mean, I've learned one thing, guys. I truly learned. Chris and I talked about this. You know, we were lucky with ZipRecruiter, man. We had a great run, but when that run stopped, we had no secondary situation. That's one thing we learned real quick. And so if you've got another thing that works for you, I mean, if you're using social media, whatever it is, right? I'd still do it. I would definitely still do it. This system is set up to where it's going to keep you consistent every week. And boy, when that keeps you consistent every week, Chris and I know the numbers. I think the numbers are going to be better with this system, but even if we went with the old numbers, you guys will crush it. And I'm going to go by the old numbers. I know what's going to make you explosive. I know what's going to make your team do real well. I know how many will make you just right there. And I know if you're not doing enough, you're going to be stagnant or not doing as well, right? I know the numbers. Chris knows the numbers. I remember when I was doing this, when I heard explosive and 20 back, that's all I knew. I mean, that's just me. I'm like that. It's explosive and 20 packets returned. But trust me, if you're getting 10 or more back in a month, your team's doing well. You're doing well. And it'll get bigger than that. It'll get bigger than that. So, but other than that, that's exactly it. And then once you all start rolling, and once again, I've been doing a lot of meetings here. I can't remember who I was talking to. I think it was yesterday. I know who I was talking to. But I was talking about your first, what y'all should start doing is doing like a madman, 90-day like we're talking about. That's what's going to get you in a habit. So I will sit down with the folks that are going to be doing this, getting that 90-day madman going. And I'm going to talk to you about your first 90 days, your second 90 days, your third 90 days. And I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen through that process. I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. Chris, he's going to know. Chris knows what it's like. But that first 3 to 4 that you do in a row, guys, your team's just going to explode. Your team's going to explode. And that's exactly what I did. I started off with a 90-day thinking that's all I needed to do. Well, I got things going and it kind of fell off. I learned that you got to do it consistently, but it's not as intense as your first 90 days. Then the second 90 days gets a little bit better. Third 90 days, all of a sudden, Stacy's got 2 or 3 people also building, right? So Stacy's going, wow. Instead of getting 20 packets back, I got 42. That's what happened to me. I had 42 packets come back. And the beauty of that is you don't want to back off, though. You got to, you're still young yet in this. Act like it's still on your shoulders. The extra ones that are coming, that's awesome. But eventually then you'll start weaning off, because then you really will start working, finding who your next leaders are and working from there. So those are things that we'll talk about, folks. But once again, any of you that are interested in the system, and this is the one we're plugging in, because with the other two systems we got going with the training and also on the sales side, guys, this is awesome. So if you're interested, please talk with your mentors about it. Chris and I will get back together and talk about it, and we'll go from there. So any other questions? Thank you, Terry. Anything else? I know we ran over, and I apologize. I really do. When expecting this. Chris, anything else, buddy?
Oh, we're good. I really appreciate you jumping on, Scott, and sharing that. And guys, I think the bottom line, just to kind of wrap this up, is this solves so many of the things and the hoops that we had to jump through and the roadblocks that we had to figure out our workarounds. And yeah, I mean, if you see everything that Symmetry's been doing really in the last, I mean, they've been working on this for a long time, but the stuff that they've been rolling out in the last 6 months is streamlined, seamless, you know, from production to recruiting to training. I mean, it's just, you know, they're putting this together in a way where it's step by step by step by step. This is just another piece of that. So, you know, for those of you who you know, it maybe felt like frustrated, like, you know, the team's not going the way I want to go, or it's not going as fast as I want to go. It's still going to take work. It's still going to take, you're still going to have to find a lot of people to get to those, you know, those diamonds in the rough, so to speak. But man, this streamlines that process so very well. So, you know, I mean, that's the big takeaway here, you know. And quite frankly, to be honest with you, Scott, what I loved about this is, you know, $500 a month. I mean, we used to talk about, you know, $1,000, $2,000 a month budgets. And you know, I was sharing with the team, you and I have spent substantially more than that over the last year or two trying to fix some of the problems that we were having. And so, to do this for $500 and it already be built, that's paradise. I mean,
I know that is awesome. So, but yeah, folks, like I said, it's gonna be a great system. It's gonna work well. Like I said, I'm excited about it, Chris. You know, I'm excited for you. And here's the thing: what I'm doing, folks, Chris is doing the same thing, guys. I'm not just on that group. I'm doing it too. I'm going to be recruiting just like everybody else. I'm going to clear as much as I've talked to Jacob about it. I'm clearing a lot of my calendar. The things that need to be done, I'll be doing, but my calendars are going to be cleared. I'm going to have, matter of fact, I'm even going to have Saturday mornings, probably up till noon or so of having interviews too. Because I want to know these numbers, not only know what your numbers are, but I want to personally know these numbers. And Chris knows how to do this thing too. So if we see the numbers and we know it's working, we're good. It's going to work, but I'm looking forward to it. And I'm going to do it the rest of the year. I'm going through this year with it. So I'm excited, man. I'm ready to go, Chris. I really am. This is going to be fun.
Awesome. So, well, we're going to wrap up. Stella has a request to make a quick announcement. So, Steph, you want to pop on real quick and let everybody know what you've got cooking?
I was just going to let everybody know that we have our Zoom room. So after this, I'm going to open it up for all of this morning. And I do want to do a one-on-one, speaking of that AI automation, with Jim and Sydney and Liz, who are getting on board with Lucender. So we'll go through that later today. I can talk to you guys on the side about that. So I'm really excited about that. And just really wanted to encourage you guys, you can come on and mute us out and dial with us for a virtual Zoom room, or you can, you know, come on in if you're new and you just want to listen. You have to let me know and I'll unmute. I'm going to be down a lot of bonus leads and follow-up so you can hear me get rejected, because, you know, we get a lot of that. But come on board. That's all I wanted to share.
Awesome. Well, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Yeah, let's wrap it up. Everybody get on, finish out the Friday. I know several of you probably have more appointments for the day. Great day to finish up the week strong. So, guys, this is exciting. You know, reach out to us if you have more questions. If you're kind of sitting on the fence, that's fine. I mean, again, like Scott said, we want you to make a commitment and do so in a way that you're comfortable with. So if that means just, kind of talking through one-on-one, absolutely happy to do that. And the wheels are in motion. So, for those of you who are wondering how quick this is going to happen, it's already happening. We're working behind the scenes, getting all the accounts set up, working with home office, getting all links set up. So it's in motion. So stand by. You will be getting onboarding instructions very, very soon.
Yeah. Well, our goal, and thanks for bringing that up, Chris. Our goal is to get this thing running next week.
Yep.
It should be running next week. Absolutely. I see no reason why not. I mean, it should be ready to go. It's all set. We just got to plug in now. Yep. Very good. Cool. Well, thanks for having me on, Chris.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate you jumping on. Everybody have a great Friday and a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Take care, everybody. Goodbye.
See you all. Thanks.